The Thinite nobles still struggle to unite the lands of the Nile under one supreme ruler. To aid them in their cause, it is hoped that you will endeavor to establish a thriving community at Perwadjyt, in the humid delta region of Lower Egypt, thus spreading their influence throughout the length of the sacred river. To support a population larger than that of a village, you must learn to use agriculture. Egyptian farmers have begun to exploit the rich, fertile soil deposited by the annual inundation of the Nile River for growing crops. The Nile can be hazardous, however. Many dangers lurk along its banks and in its waters, such as deadly crocodiles, hippopotamuses, and malaria-carrying mosquitoes.
Indeed, there are some rather dangerous things to be found in the Nile, and we are going to come across some of these in future missions. Anyway, welcome back to Pharaoh, the land of the pharaohs. I am Sajuuk, and we are here on the mission Perwadjyt, and this is a fairly interesting map, mainly because it has a bug, and I will go on to talk about that later when we come towards the end of the mission. So we've got 600 people as required, 10 modest homesteads, and we're just going to build a granary, fill it with figs. There are some other events that happen throughout this mission in reference to this last bit, but for now we're not going to worry too much about them. So let's head to the city. Farming along the Nile. You must build farms directly on the floodplain in order to gain the benefits of its increased fertility. Unlike most working structures, farms in the floodplain do not need direct access to employees, but do need a steady workforce of peasant labourers, supplied by work camps to tend their fields. Build work camps fairly close to the floodplain farms, so peasants don't have to walk so far to reach them. Each year, and this is an important thing, each year the Nile floods its banks, replenishing the depleted soil in the floodplain with rich, fertile mud. Peasants harvest the annual crop just before the inundation and deliver it to your granaries. Because there is only one harvest per year, make sure your city has enough granaries to store a sufficient amount of food for your growing population. And there's one thing I'm going to make in reference to this later when we unlock a certain building, but for now we can't do anything about it. We'll just slow time down. So we've got reeds and hippopotamuses. We don't need to cross the river. Even though you can later build ferry crossings and all that, we do not need to do that. We've got everything we need on this centre island. So again, I'm not going to use long walk or any of those kind of techniques. We're just going to build a plain old loop here. That's okay then. And I'm just going to build a bit of a loop. It doesn't need to be perfect, we'll just do that. And we will build a road just out here. House, something there. So we'll just build that. And we're just going to do this. There we go. So we'll just build some houses here. So this is sort of like a very basic loop block that I'm doing here. I'm just doing it on this mission just because I do want to show these kind of things. Because why not? Let's put these things in there. Note to this mission, there are no gold mines, so we don't want to really run out of money on this one. But I think we should do just fine. So I'm just going to draw a road straight out. There are no ways to irrigate. You will learn how to irrigate the floodplain in a later mission, so don't worry too much about it right now. I don't think there's really any point of worrying at this stage about the lack of irrigation on this one, so we just have to remain calm over it. Oops, I didn't seem to build that very well. Just do that, delete that bit there. So we'll just do 1, 2, 3. We'll just put that down. There we go. There we go. So we've got all of the city set up for what we need. I know I've spent a bit of money, but that's okay. Employees needed, that's okay. We're just going to put that stuff down, get it all going. There we go. I know they're walking out on there, but later we will get a thing that will stop us from having these problems. A roadblock is a really useful feature of this game. One of the things I think a lot of people requested in certain titles, I'm actually just going to delete this road, we don't need it. We can set up everything around this area here without any trouble at all. We have many more farms than we really need, but that's okay. So we should be able to support everything we need with this city. One thing to note is this overseer of the temples is a very useful thing to have. It will tell you all of the gods that you have access to, how many temples and shrines they've had, and their appeasement reviews. So it's a good way of just quickly checking who's going to get angry first. This overseer of diversions is also very useful. For when it comes to culture, this is a really useful thing to find out which ones you need to be building. We're just going to speed up time here and just get the farms going. They should be harvesting very shortly. There we go. People are annoyed with me because there aren't enough jobs. Well, whoop-de-doo, I can't do anything about it. But here we go. Industry. Now you've given your people basic food and water, you can enhance their lifestyle with other goods such as pottery. Build a clay pit close to water, and floodplains count as well, and a potter nearby. Make sure these have access to labour as usual, and before long a cart will deliver clay to the potter, which will create pottery for the city. Pottery is the first commodity that is not food that you need to evolve beyond an ordinary cottage. One clay pit can usually supply enough clay for 2 potters. Depends on the mission. If you've got a mission where bricks are available, you'll want to have many more clay pits, because clay pits can run out of clay for potters. So let's just put down some clay pits here. 1, 2, let's do that. And I will just put down a firehouse. I'll just delete this tree because it's just in the way. Now we are going to put down 2 storage yards here. Now the reason for this is there's a very useful technique to learn about Pharaoh food delivery. Something that Caesar 3 didn't have is, well, it did have, but it wasn't as easy to do this. Quite often you will be asked to send food to a city. However, the food that is in a granary does not count as an item that you can send. So to send food to the city, it has to requests and all that, famines usually. It has to be in a storage yard, and this is where you can exploit a little quirk of the game. If a storage yard is set to accept food, it will be prioritised over a granary, even if the granary is literally right there. So see if you had your floodplain like this and a granary right there. It doesn't matter where the storage yard is, it could be way down here for all the game cares. Every single one of these cart pushers will go straight to that storage yard. No doubt about it. And basically you can exploit this to get much more food. So you can have like 6400 food all the time, and as long as there's like a little bit of space in the storage yard, the cart pushers will just go there. Every one of them, and that will mean you'll always have a shit ton of food to support the city, even through bad floods. So whenever you're doing a city, always have food go into a granary first, to a storage yard first, and set the granary to get. In this way that the food can be distributed very easily. But we're going to build a bazaar. I'm actually just going to knock out these corner houses just temporarily. I'm just going to put a road tile there, and this is to put down a booth in the 2 corners, like so. I'm just going to put down Kingdom Road. Oh, I blocked the Kingdom Road, okay. I thought that was a space gap that they could get through, but apparently not. So we'll just put down that. And we'll just put that down. So 3 of those should be enough. And I think we should be fine and dandy. That is a road tile there, yeah. And we can also put down a juggler's school somewhere where I can't put it there because it's just going to block in the Kingdom Road. It looks as if I'm going to need this road coming down here anyway. There. And I could also put down a couple of extra potable. 1 there. It's a bit much, but it's okay. There. Lotus City sentiment prevents immigration. Well, that's not too good. Now, I'm actually going to bump off some houses. I'm going to get rid of these because we have far too many people in the city, and I think it's better if we just evolve the houses in the way the game is asking us to. So, I don't know why this box comes up titleless, but it does, because I'm not sure if it's supposed to be appearing or not. Anyway, your city suffers from health problems, as is to be expected with a growing population. Malaria and disease are the most common health crises that can affect the city's households, but widespread plague can strike if city healthcare is exceptionally inadequate. So, if overall city health is garbage, you're going to get plagues. And that really, really doesn't help. If a house does become infected with malaria or disease, all its occupants die, and the house can't be repopulated for a certain period of time. It's usually 1 or 2 months, depending on the affliction. But it can depend on certain events. Malaria. Malaria is most prevalent close to water and marshland. Actually, that's wrong. It's only prevalent close to marshland. It never happens in normal maps with just no reeds. If there are reeds on the map, there's malaria. Maybe it was supposed to be that near water it can do. It can be also, I think, if you put the housing literally next to the water, it'll count. But otherwise, you would never do that anyway, so it's not a big deal. The risks malaria overlay shows which houses are most likely to be succumbing to this illness. Access to clean water from a water supply and insect repellent provided by a local apothecary both greatly reduce the risk of malaria for any given household. These things take up 5 workers. There's a malaria risk. Oops, speeding time up there a bit too much. Apothecaries take up 5 workers, so if you don't have malaria risk where there's no reeds, don't build these things, they're a waste. We're also going to put down a physician now. Disease strikes when your city doesn't have enough food being supplied. So if your house doesn't have access to food, it will just get disease. So just provide food, even if it's only a small amount. Get some food in and a physician and it'll be fine. What else is in that thing? Yeah, disease. Physicians help to reduce the risk of disease by administering medicines. So that's a fairly basic thing. So in every block you must always provide a physician. On very easy, you don't need to do it, because on very easy there are no risks, essentially. So on easy or above, always build these things, because they are important. But we are going to just speed time up here. I'm actually just going to put down a few shrines here. Just a few, just to boost desirability. We don't really need to spam them. I know we're out of money, but that's fine. Just going to put down 1 or 2 here and there, not spam them too much. Just enough to boost up the ratings here. Now, there's an interesting bug with this mission, as I've said. We can evolve the housing later when we get some statues, so we are just going to speed this up and... Actually, don't buy pottery. Delete that. You're going to stop providing pottery. Okay, so I'm just going to speed this up. Because we want to get to a certain thing happening. Here, municipal structures. You've got some industry up and running, now you can think about making a few improvements to your city. Gardens, statues and plazas are the best things in the world. Statues in particular are going to be needed if you want manors, which we're not going to talk about now because you can never get them right now. Roadblocks. Best thing in the series in my opinion. Roadblocks can be used to guide your city's walkers. Some walkers have a specific destination in mind while others don't. They simply roam the streets, etc, etc. Water crossings allow you to cross the river, and you will need this in some cases to cross the river to access resources. But for now, we're going to put down roadblocks. Oh god, that track. I love this track. It's great. An apothecary just burns down for no reason, but that's okay. And that's a silly place to put a roadblock because it blocks that in. I don't know what it is about this track, but it is awesome. It just sounds so chill. I'm just going to put that road line like this. There. Problem solved. So we just have a look at these things. These statues are great, and you can rotate them and get other statue types. This is like the basic one. Now if you rotate them, I'm pressing R to do this, you get a low one, this sort of middle one, which I really like, and this tall one, which is a really nice one as well. So we're just going to put down some tall statues here and there. I'm just going to delete that. I'm going to move it. Now notice our population here. This is where I'm going to talk about the bug. So you can see here that there's 2 booths. But this is still complaining that there's not enough entertainment in it, and we've got the population, but the goal wants, if we just, I don't think we can see it here, but the goal is 10 mods apartments. But you can see that even if I'm going to deliver pottery, I'm going to go and deliver pottery now because we can't win the mission. We'll just speed time up here. So this has got pottery, these houses have pottery, but they're not going to evolve. Now what, you think that the answer is just to put down more booths everywhere. This is not a solution. Basically, when Cleopatra was added, they changed the calculation for, I'm just going to put down this village palace just to sap up some unemployment. What basically happened is in Cleopatra, when they added a new building called the zoo, and that recalculated all the culture points needed and all the value that these things are worth. But they forgot to fix this mission. They did fix 2 missions later on, Bubastis and Hatshepsut, but we can't build anything more than a booth here. So you think, well, this mission's bugged, I can't win it. You can if you reduce the difficulty, and that's what we are going to do, because we have won the mission with this little city here. So basically, when Cleopatra's added at hard and very hard difficulty, you can't win this mission, just because these don't count enough. And I could go around spamming booths just about everywhere, it will not do anything. If I just put a booth here, this will not do anything. So if I just speed this up, so that booth's there, Malaria's happened. Oh, I didn't replace the apothecary, stupid of me. So this has been replaced, but nothing has happened. Because there's still not enough entertainment points. So the only thing, this is the only time I'm going to reduce difficulty level. We have to do it on this mission just because of the way the game works. As soon as I reduce this, I will win. Straight away. And that is a bug only on this mission. This mission can't be won on hard or very hard. If you were playing without Cleopatra, which in today's age, I would never see happening, you have to lower difficulty because of that bug. Anyway, that was Perwadjyt. We have learned how to farm on the floodplain, and we set up our first basic industry. Let us proceed to end this campaign.
Superb. Your own citizens are beginning to look to you as their caretaker, and neighboring cities also hail you as a provider in times of need.
Well, that's good to know. So we completed off Perwadjyt in basically 2 years. I did have to lower the difficulty, otherwise I would have done that on hard. But again, bug. And that is the pre-dynastic period. We've done it in 3 straight simple parts. And I hope I've tried to explain things in a simple way. I've tried to, well, explain as much as I can, because in these early missions there is going to be no edits. But from like mid next one, the archaic period, we are going to be doing a bit of editing just to streamline the videos a bit, because they do start to get long missions. Anyway, that was Perwadjyt, and I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you in the next one. We're going to start the archaic period. Thanks for watching. See you later, folks. Bye now.